Thank you very much, Madam President. I rise to speak on the recent 20th anniversary of the Bali Bombings. Early on the morning of the 12th of October, as the sun rose over Perth, survivors, their loved ones and several hundred members of the public gathered at the memorial in Kings Park to lay wreaths and commemorate this historic anniversary. 2 decades on, it has lost none of its impact. 202 people were killed in the brutal attack at Paddy's Bar and the Sari Club, 88 of them Australian and 16 of them from Western Australia. It was and remains very close to home. At the 20th anniversary ceremony, we heard powerful speeches from survivors that reminded us of the very best in the Australian character. Anthony Vilicic said, "The knowledge that more people visit Bali now than prior to the bombings shows that they failed to scare us away. We can be rest assured the Australian spirit has not been broken. Our spirit remains strong, open, free and tolerant in the memory of those lost." Bali Memorial Association Secretary Fiona Ross lost her brother, David. She shared how her memories of the event and its aftermath remained awful and terrible, but she was buoyed by the countless acts of love and kindness that followed the tragedy. Perth Northern Suburbs is where I grew up. It's where my office is based and is a part of the world which I often talk about. It's a part of the world that was not immune from those devastating attacks. And those who lived and worked and played sport there before dying in Bali are very well and warmly remembered. The local high school, Greenwood College, of which one of my staff is an alumni, flies flags at half-mast on the 12th of October to commemorate the loss of 4 former students. And a plaque there, presented by the graduating class of 2002, pays tribute to Brian Hancock, Corey Poltridge, Jason Stokes and Jonathan Wade. Those 4 former students are also remembered by the Kingsley Football Club, which marked the 20th anniversary of the bombings with a Legends footy match. In October 2002, 20 young men from the club, elated to have won their first premiership, flew to Bali for an end-of-season celebration. Tragically, only 13 of the teammates made it home. In addition to those I've mentioned, I add David Ross, Anthony Stewart and Dean Gallagher as those that did not return. It says a lot when the surviving team members were offered an opportunity to fly home. Instead, they chose to stay and search for their missing colleagues. But as significantly as Western Australia was affected, so too it contributed to the recovery. 28 people were flown to Royal Perth Hospital for treatment. The WA Museum currently has an exhibition dedicated to the bombings, showcasing the selfless doctors and nurses who treated burns patients. The message I think many people draw from these tragic events is that cooperation, love and survival won out over fear and hatred. Indeed, the friendship between Australia and Indonesia has endured, has grown stronger, despite the events of 2002. Australians frequent Bali in greater numbers than before the attacks. While grief and loss continue, all this confirms the perpetrators of the Bali bombings are and will remain defeated.